Hi everyone. Today I will teach you about good tongue placement and give you some tips to avoid the tongue tension. Now, the way that you position your tongue can either really help you or it can make it a lot harder to sing. Now, our tongue is very important to communicate what we want to sing and say, as we would not be able to understand a word without using it. Before we move on with this video, I recommend that you pause it, go wash your hands very thoroughly, or use just a disinfectant. I think everybody has that now. And find a little mirror if you don't already have it in your room, and then return back to the video. All right, now try to say this sentence with me without using your tongue. I love to sing. Could understand anything because we did not use our tongue. Now, on the other hand, ventriloquists, the guys who have the puppet in their hand and they're talking for both of them, they actually talk for the puppet without using their lips. Let's try this. We will say all 5 vowels, a, e, I, o, u, without moving our lips. For this, it's actually really good if you just put the mirror in front of you so you can observe your lips. We will do this by just relaxing our mouth and just add a little bit of a smile, a tiny bit. And now I'll say a, e, I, o, u. Now you notice that I didn't need to use my lips to actually say these vowels. That was all your tongue doing all of that, and that's why it's so important to have good tongue placement when we're singing. Now, tongue is actually a fairly large muscle. It's not just your tip. It goes all the way back into kind of like your throat, and it has different parts of it that can move. You have the tip, the sides, the back can move. And in order to train this muscle, your tongue, to kind of like work in the right way, you will just need to train it the same way as you would train any other muscle in your body. Getting my tongue placement right was one of the most difficult things in my vocal training. I had all sorts of issues. I would be pushing it back. Then I just try to do some weird acrobatic movements in my mouth with it. And I would just maybe just sound a little muffled from time to time. So when I worked through it, and it did take me a long time, I just discovered this brand new world that I didn't know existed, and my singing all of a sudden started feeling very, very effortless. Now you're probably asking yourself, so what is this good tongue placement? Well, there isn't this one position that your tongue is just sitting there the whole time, because we already saw that if you're not moving your tongue, you can't understand anything. But there is this one general placement. Neutral placement of your tongue is when the tip of your tongue is gently resting behind your bottom front teeth and the back of the tongue is flat. Now, the underside of your tongue is also kind of like resting, but also kind of touching the gum rim. Now, this position is really good because it allows your pharynx to create that resonance when you're singing, and it also allows you later as a singer to start creating the different vowels with the middle of your tongue. Now, this neutral placement doesn't quite work, of course, for your consonants because we form them very differently. So you actually touch the top teeth. The reason we're focusing on this tongue placement so much is that we actually, when we're singing, we pull from vowels and not the consonants. The consonants are very short. It's the same almost for speaking. Let's say word laugh. If I try to sing it, I don't go laugh. I sing laugh, right? So that vowel is a lot longer, and that's where we get the resonance, the tone through. Another reason why we're so concerned about tongue placement is the reason that your tongue is actually connected to the larynx. In larynx, we have our vocal folds. So now if you have tension in your tongue, you will create tension in your larynx, and that will create tension for your vocal folds, which is just not good for them and can create injuries over time. There are two ways that we can have tongue tension. The first one is tongue retraction. That is when you are pulling your throat backwards, and what happens is you're also pushing your larynx down. This is the most common tongue tension. A lot of people have it. You're basically, when you're singing, you feel like your tongue just keeps falling backwards, and it almost sometimes create this like Kermit the Frog sound because you're blocking like and pushing your larynx down so much. The way you can check if you have tongue retraction while singing as well is, so if you put your finger right here, you will notice that when I start pushing down with my tongue, this gets really stiff. If I don't push down, it's nice and just kind of soft. When I push down, it stiffens up. So that's how you can check it. Now there are 3 different exercises that you can do to improve your tongue retraction. For the first exercise, you will use a pencil. And this pencil should be clean and disinfected, because you're going to be putting it in your mouth. What you do is you put this pencil underneath your tongue, and then you say it. Now, if this is really hard and you just can't grab this pencil with the front of your tongue, what you will do the second exercise, where you will actually use your fingers again, and you will pull your tongue out with your index finger and your thumb. And if that feels too slippery, you can use like a little tissue to hold it. The longer you do this though, the drier your tongue will get, so it's gonna get easier and easier. So basically you just go and pull out. Then the next step would be, you can pull it just a little bit. Then you can put it in your mouth, but use the index finger to just touch down. It's very possible that your tongue will try to like keep falling backwards. So really, really take your time with this exercise. Don't just go once and you're like, oh, now I can't do it. Really, really take your time. Another exercise, the third one that can help you to just get kind of more control with the back of your tongue is, I call the NG exercise. The way that you can do this, if you say sing, you say sing. So the back of your tongue is now up. And from there, you just say ah, sing, ah. And you can just practice it very, very slowly. And then you just try over time. You can try to do it faster and faster. Do all of these exercises in front of the mirror, because you will really, really see what is happening with your tongue. Now we're moving on to tongue thrust, or the tongue that is pulled too far out. What happens is when you do that with your tongue, you're trying to like push it out. Some people say that they feel, when they experience this, that they feel like their tongue is too big for their mouth. They say they feel that they have like a little lump in their throat, and you are actually pushing your larynx up. And it's very possible that if you're doing that you sound kind of nasally. That nasal sound, that's actually a really good indicator as well that you're probably having tongue thrust. You're pulling it out too much. Now, one exercise that you can do to improve this tension is, we're gonna tilt our head backwards and just relax everything, including your tongue. And now I'm just gonna bring everything up. And you will notice that my tongue It's just resting now on the bottom of my mouth, touching the front teeth. So you can practice it. If it feels too big, just backwards. And now it might feel quite a bit smaller. Another very, very good exercise is singing through a yawn. The reason that a lot of vocal teachers are using yawning for singing is that when you yawn, your tongue naturally pushes your larynx down. Remember that you're pushing it up right now. So you want to just this natural movement of your tongue. It pushes the larynx down, and it creates then more space. So what you can do first is just oh, you might start yawning for real. And that's okay. If you do start yawning, don't just stop it. Rather observe what is happening in your mouth. So when you do this, you can just then take a breath. And that's how you can work through your tongue thrust, through your tongue tension. Again, do use mirror for both of these exercises. Try to experience both tongue retraction and tongue thrust to just see how they feel. Now, it's possible that you have been doing this perfectly fine and correctly all along. So if that is the case, then you don't have to do anything about it. But if you feel like there's some issues, please use the tips from this video that can help you. What's the most important about your singing and your tongue is that you just feel very relaxed, that you never feel any tension around kind of like your throat, larynx, pharynx area, and that you just feel happy with your tone. I hope that this video can help you discover this new effortless world of singing as it helped me throughout time. Remember, it will take time. Be gentle, be forgiving to yourself. Thank you for watching and keep on singing.